Hello, welcome. I'm going to go into a little bit of research that's showing me now what I suspected and I thought is a possibility of how this outbreak could have happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to look at the thing on the Mail Online here now. So we've got the deadly coronavirus may have originated in a bat cave 16 years ago. Scientists say latest disease is a 96% match to a strain discovered in the 2004 Chinese study. I'll link this article below, you can read for yourself, but again, the same person involved in this, the virologist who led the research, Shi Zhengli, that's a bloody hard word to say, has now revealed one of the strains is almost identical to the one currently ravaging China. She cross-referenced the genome sequence and the COVID-19 is now officially known with the 2004 results and found it was 96% matched to a virus found in the droppings of the horseshoe bats. The bat soup. Remember those stories or the propaganda that was coming out? Well, there we go. Shi Zhengli. Where is Shi Zhengli at the moment? That's a very good question. She doesn't seem to be appearing anywhere. There's not face of her on the walls. And don't forget that local Chinese people call her the mother of the devil. There's a damn good reason why they call her that. And here we have the spike in glycoprotein of the new coronavirus 2019 nCoV contains a furin-like cleavage site absent in coronavirus of the same clade. In other words, this coronavirus has something in it called furin. This is the difference between all these other ones. So this sounds like this is something that's an additive to the original coronavirus. So this is as an alien thing. So this sounds like this coronavirus is actually engineered. Started to look like very much that this coronavirus itself was engineered. China lied and people died. Chinese scientists destroyed Wuhan coronavirus evidence in December. So how did Shi Zhengli get the information about it being with the bats, and yet in December the Chinese government ordered the destruction of the evidence, and yet on the 30th of January we have here the genome of the new pneumonia outbreak, which was released on the 9th of January by China. As you go down you can see that they talk here on the 13th of January of it not being person to person transmitted, so it doesn't transmit by person to person. So I'll link that one below. Here we have the Chinese laboratories identified the mystery virus as highly infectious, new pathogen by late December last year, but were ordered to stop tests, destroy samples, and suppress the news, a Chinese media outlet has revealed. This was written by The Times, which is quite a very good paper. So that tells you that this whole evidence of the actual virus was destroyed. So where is it? How did these people suddenly create a genome from it and talk about it? Because you'd have to have patient zero. You'd have to have ground zero to where it started. And this gets a bit better. This is a big shout out to Mr. Crabface, McCrabby, whatever his name is, who dropped this in my thing, and it fits in beautifully. We're showing how corrupt all of this is with the World Health Organization. And the lead guy of the World Health Organization, believe it or not, was put in his position by the Chinese. Taiwan says WHO ignored December warning on coronavirus person-to-person transmission. According to the Financial Times, Taiwan's Vice President Chen Chien-jen said its doctors had heard from mainland colleagues about medical staff getting ill, which is a sign of human-to-human transmission. And Taipei officials reported this on December the 31st to both China and international health regulations, a WHO framework for exchange of epidemic prevention and response data between 196 countries. Now remember the date there, 31st of December. The alert was ignored by China's health ministry and confirmed human-to-human transmission of COVID-19 on January the 20th, 20 days later. So for nearly a whole month now, this infection has been going from people to people all around China. And don't forget, also at the same time, you have the Chinese Lunar New Year, and they had the big festival where 40,000 families there with a potluck meal. Oh, this was brilliant. 5 million Chinese left, and they went all around the world at that time. and these figures are astronomical. And if 5 million went and they can and say 3 million of them were infected, 3 million then becomes 6 million, 6 million becomes 12 million. You get the picture. Don't buy China's story of the coronavirus may have leaked from a lab. So we can see what's going on here. But in this thing is a very interesting thing, because an emergency meeting in Beijing held last Friday, Chinese leader Xi Jinping spoke about the need to contain the coronavirus and set up a system to prevent similar epidemics in the future. A national system to control biosecurity risks must be put into place to protect the people's health, Xi said, because the lab's safety is a national security issue. Now, when was this written? Well, this was written in February of 2020. So there is evidence there that this is what China's hiding. China's hiding that this actually came from their labs. Experts know the new coronavirus is not a bioweapon. Know the new virus is not a bioweapon. They disagree on whether it could have leaked from a research lab. Interesting article. I'll link that below for you to peruse at your own level. But it's this article I want to go through quickly now, so you can read here for yourselves. Author argues the coronavirus behind the COVID-19 outbreak may have leaked from a Chinese virology lab. Now, don't forget, in Wuhan, there is only one level 4 virology lab in the whole of China, and it's in Wuhan. What's more people? Right, so here we go. So this are the bits I want to bring to attention here. What's more important is the People's Liberation Army's top expert in biological warfare, Major General Chen Wei, was dispatched to Wuhan at the end of January to help with the effort to contain the outbreak. Why not Shi Zhengli, the expert apparently in bats? Where is she? Now we have Major General Chen Wei. You're going to love this one. According to the PLL Daily, Chen has been researching coronavirus since the SARS outbreak of 2003, as well as Ebola, anthrax, and was not her first trip to Wuhan Institute of Virology, even since it's only one or two bioweapons research in all of China. Suggests that the novel coronavirus, now SARS-CoV-2, may have escaped from the very lab, and that Chen's job is to try and put the genie back in the bottle. And then there is a little known fact. Now, this is the bit I want people to hear, and this will shock you to the core about security in these facilities. Some Chinese researchers are believed to sell laboratory animals to street vendors after they finished experimenting on them. Instead of properly disposing of infected animals by cremation, as the law requires, they sell them on the side to make a little extra cash, or in some cases, a lot of extra cash. One Beijing researcher, now in jail, made the equivalent of $1 million selling monkeys and rats on the live animal market, whence they are likely wound up in someone's stomach. Do you understand now the connection between the laboratory and the wet market in Wuhan? It's starting to look more and more likely that this is what's happened here, that a contaminated biological hazardous waste animal was sold, instead of being destroyed, was sold to the wet market. Chinese military, let's go back. General Chen Wei, this one is fantastic. Chinese military is ordered to win global race to develop coronavirus vaccine. Beijing, the Chinese military has ordered to join the race to develop the world's first vaccine for COVID-19. According to the military and scientific sources, the state broadcasters on Chinese television reported on Tuesday, March 17th, that a research team led by Major General Chen Wei, a top epidemiologist and virologist with the Academy of Military Medical Sciences, have been authorized to start clinical trials. So where is Shi Zhengli? Wolf Warrior strives to make China first with coronavirus vaccine. Washington Post, our lovely, wonderful lapdogs of propaganda media. But this one's interesting because I want you to hear this. Wolf Warrior, muscular, nationalistic Chinese action movie that broke box office records in 2017. A heroic military scientist called Dr. Chen developed a vaccine for a deadly virus called Lamanla that was spreading across Africa. 2 years earlier, a muscular nationalistic Chinese state had sent a heroic military scientist called Dr. Chen to Sierra Leone to develop a vaccine for a deadly virus called Ebola that was spreading across Africa. The none too subtle reference was not lost on the Chinese audience. Now in 2020, as the deadly coronavirus that causes the disease known as COVID-19 spreads across the world, Dr. Chen is back in the limelight. Chen fatigued surgical while standing in front of the Communist Party flag and receiving an injection in the left arm. The substance was, according to the reports, one that China hopes will become the first vaccine against the coronavirus. Now, here's a problem with this. The quest for the vaccine is not only about public health, but also about the fight between China and the United States for the supremacy in trade and technology. The military and the media are now a virus. Good old Washington Post. Yeah, God, I love the media. All on the side of the people that caused this in the first place, eh? Don't you really love them? They're fantastic, don't you? Coronavirus. Bat scientist cave exploits hope to beat virus sneakier than SARS, but some people blame it created in the first place. But this is this article I had the other day. There's a picture of Xi Zhengli there. The spelling cage, the height, breathing, brought back to the national bio. What she found, she brought back to the bio laboratory. It was that database that she's turned to when the new infectious coronavirus caused an outbreak in China at the end of December. Her team was the first to identify the coronavirus that was killing people by causing pneumonia was a direct descendant of a wild strain they culled from droppings of a fruit bat in the Yunnan province, sharing 96% of the genes. So there is corroboration here that Xi Jinping had all this information. Which leads me to this factor, which I've just showed you, that these people were selling live experimented on animals to the markets. Human error in biocontainment labs, a likely pandemic threat. February 25th, 2019. A very interesting article for people to read there. Chinese national Zheng Zheng, this is a big shout out to Mish who gave me this information, accused of stealing vials of biological materials from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, trying to smuggle the items to China. So these Chinese individuals, like I showed you from the Winnipeg, we've got it from Harvard University, we've got this guy here, stealing materials to take back to China. Biological hazards. Records reveal biological hazards of Fort Collins. CDC shuts down things. These laboratories are dangerous because they have biological pathogens in them. And they are just ticking time bombs. I think it's time we asked our governments to shut them down. We can have a safe research centre somewhere away from humanity, where scientists can go and play God if they want to, but away from mankind, away from any ability where, for instance, they've sold items to the wet market, which has caused this huge pandemic we're seeing today. This is not make-believe. I'm linking all this below, including the DOJ article where it shows the arrest of a Harvard professor involved with the Chinese as well. So I want everybody to start to realise that this is deeper than what we think. And we've got to stop letting the media get away with this. So we have three culprits for this pandemic. China and its lax ability in human rights violations. The World Health Organization. That idiot needs to go as of yesterday. The head of that has to go. He cannot stay there any longer. Oh, laughing boy, where she was laughing the other day and wishing his friend a happy birthday while the world burns, you know, and the media. That's my message to the media. It's about time we dealt with these scumbags that call themselves the freedom of the press. And democracy dies in darkness. No, no. Democracy dies at the end of these bastards. And they've got to face the music. And yeah, I am pretty pissed because I'm one of the high risk people. So I'm like a dead man walking. If this gets me, I don't know. My chances are very slim. So I'm praying to God I don't catch it. But if I do, I do. So be it. But so long as my message gets out that the media is guilty of all these murders as much as China is, as much as the World Health Organization, because the media is in bed with it and complicit. And it's time to take back the media from these scumbags and arseholes and political hacks. And to the Democrats doing what they're doing and the Labour Party doing what they're doing, trying to take advantage of a crisis to push their shit through. Are you joking? These people are the worst of the